everybody, to Mystic Brew. I am Radagast. And I guess it's been a while since I did a video. I'm saying that a little sheepishly because of last Thursday night. I kind of got what would probably be called, or I might want to call, because I did have Lyme disease, and the initial onset was quite intense, but also very the high shamanic point of my life until that time, and that lasted for 2 to 3 days. So Thursday night, I went outside. Was barefoot on the lawn. The temperature had dropped a bit than it had, and so my room was a little bit cool, and I got a chill, and one that really got me in my gut, and I was like, I was really. So I brought myself inside and laid down, and just shivered for a while, and I don't at some point I kind of crossed over. There were some interesting things with the cold shivers and patterns and things. It was just a wild couple of days. So I woke up Friday after probably about 15 hours in bed, but really busy. And I don't want to get over much into it, but I was involved with whoever, and to me it felt like human spirits, and maybe some volunteers. And I don't know the exact nature of what was being accomplished, but I remember there was just great joy and excitement, and a sense of, as soon as you got there, it's like, you're here, let's do this. Like I said, what we were doing, I'm not quite sure. I have a few interesting moments where it seems like I was giving a lecture somewhere, but I don't have much on that. And but that was like part 2 of Friday night. I thought I was fine. Friday I was fine. I was ready to do rehearsal. We didn't have rehearsal. And I have a new Unkl Butchie song, and I thought everything was fine. And I'm doing a festival with a friend's band on this Saturday, Gypsy Fest, and so she calls me, I don't know, probably about 1:15, and says, you'll get picked up at 1:15 tomorrow afternoon. It's all good, everything's fine with me. About 15 minutes later, I start to shiver, but this time, unlike Friday night, my hands had gotten very cold and very, very numb. And when I went to bed, not only was I shivering, I was trying to get my hands warm. And then my hands were so cold, I had to figure out. I just remembered, oh, right, we have to just move them and get some circulation going. That'll help. It helped enormously. But there was still some tingling. But anyway, once I got that almost pain gone, and I could just concentrate on the cold in my body, it did some really interesting patterns, and the sensations turned very interesting. And then I transitioned again. And here it was, I consented to going to a rehearsal the next day, and I'm going, oh my God, I'm going to be in such shape if this night was anything like. And sure, so it was another night, very much like Thursday night. They were kind of like twin nights. And I called him. I say, I hate to tell you, but like, I'm still like having little types of chills. And I said, I don't think it's contagious. I think it's just like, Lyme disease stuff clearing out. I hadn't been keeping up on certain supplements. And they go, you have to come. So I just kind of, fortunately, I only had to bring my guitar. And so he picked me up. I felt like it was like the song Sedated by the Ramones, put me in a wheelchair and get me to the plane. So anyway, I get in the car, put my guitar in the car, and we get there, and I'm setting up. I am still more where I was the night before than I am where I am, and they, I'm in a good mood. I'm just trying to tell them. I said, look, I'm struggling between worlds here, and so. They see me almost kind of fall over. I think I was tripping over a mic stand or something. They go, why don't we put you down? So they pull a chair over. I sit down with my bass. They bring the music stand over and they lower it to my height. And so it's it's kind of like almost like being in like a studio musician. And so we we played the first song, and I have I have a very good sense of rhythm, and I'm having trouble like really being sure, and a lot of times sound like if this is right, it doesn't sound right. So again, it was still I might as well have been on acid during that song. And the drummer who I play with, and we're like this when we play. And I kind of said, I'm not quite sure if I was playing with you. He said, don't worry, you're gonna warm up. I'm quite sure, So, and the second song was, I put a lot of will into it, and by the song, I was like just willing myself to find where the rhythm was. But once I did that, it was like I felt like a studio musician. We had the best rehearsal we ever had. And I packed up my guitar, and they kind of ferried me home. And I had an interesting few hours. That was Saturday, and I didn't bring any cigarettes with me. Between Friday night and Sunday, I only smoked 3 cigarettes. So like I said, this was, I remember more, even though I don't remember that much, I almost remember more of when I was on the other side than those few hours when I was kind of like moving around in my room and maybe trying to find something to eat that I even wanted to eat. Eating was like the last thing in my mind, but meanwhile I was like, calorie deprived. And here it is, I need to stay warm. It was a joyful period, but it was, thank God for my situation. I mean, the blessings and the grace of my life that I finished kind of like my weekly duties, for at least for the way this week was set up, on Thursday evening. So if I was going to have to, if I was going to have to be transitioned to the fairy world for a couple of days and then need like 2 days to recover, yesterday was the first day I was able to finish a sentence. I kept on like, I couldn't seem to, I would start out a sentence and I knew where I was going. I could see the period. And somewhere before I got there, I would lose it so often. So anyway, I put together something interesting. I just had to feed the artist in me. I mean, I'm really in great spirits. The kind of place I'm in doesn't make me the best match for that crazy world out there. I mean, after these past couple of days, re-entering into the world, it's like, you know what? I don't know how much I can re-enter. I mean, fortunately, at the personal level, you can pretty much do a full re-entry. But in the world, oh my God. Oh my God. But anyway, so you've already heard 10 Years Late. Now we have another song that we did that was, decent enough. Again, actually this one is one of our newest songs we've worked into our repertoire. It's called Salty Creek. And we just we're just running through the set, and we often just don't do repairs, and we'll repair it next time. And so in each of these two cases, they were just really good raw takes. And so I'm going to play Salty Creek, and then we're going to close with 40 Years Late again. And this time, rather than just a picture of me and Unkl Butchie, I have some pictures I can show. I actually had 2 separate folders. You know what? I probably... Oh, no, I know. That's right. They did get stayed. They stayed separate. So I have 2 different... I have 2 separate folders that I can kind of do little pictures with. They won't be perfectly fitted to the screen, but I'll try to lend some atmosphere to these songs. So, okay, and I'll start each one with... a picture of Unkl Butchie. And so let me get back into here. And so I'm going to turn off my mic. Okay, well, first of all, you don't have to watch me talk to myself. So there's Unkl Butchie. I wonder if I can do a little control fit here, make that look a little better. Oh, I guess, well, at least it's more centered. So there's a more centered Unkl Butchie. And then I'm going to call up my Windows Media Player where I've already preloaded this. And turn off my mic and play it. And I might come in, in between a song just for a second so I can reset my folders. All right, so here we go. Count me out there, Mark. 1, 2, 3, 4. I just realized my mic wasn't on for all of that. So anyway, we're going to do 40 Years Late, and so we're starting off with Unkl Butchie. So let's take that trip, 40 Years Late. Count me out there, Mark. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so remember to turn my mic on this time. So that's the two songs I have, the Unkl Butchie songs. I play them as waveforms, and then I want to do a really kind of nice artistic treatment of them in Windows Movie Maker. But those will be MP3s, and I'll probably just put that up as a separate video. But I wanted to say hello to everybody, and also Moose and I are going to do another show tomorrow, The Mystic and the Moose. It'll be up when it'll be up. And we did talk some topics. He'll excuse me if I wait until the pre-show tomorrow before we kind of come up that we have some ideas. There's just so much happening. There is so much to talk about, but the thing is to really keep it focused. Our conversations have had a certain kind of coherence and thread to them, and so it's kind of keeping the thread continued. And it probably, one of the things I thought, it's almost like the post-eclipse decompression, but it isn't so much about. The post-eclipse is kind of like what's coming, so we might try to get into that. We'll do a little sky talk again, and so that's it from me. Mod Wiz, and thank you. I see a few people have either resubscribed or just subscribed. I'm always happy to see people who are enjoying the content, and I think after this kind of little phase of mine, I might feel I might be returning when I finally get a little more focus into the world. I'm feeling a really good spirit about myself, and a lot of other people, because this was such everything I went through was done like with a crowd. There were a lot of beings there, and for me, it basically felt like brothers and sister human beings, who were kind of like taking some of their, non-waking time and devoting it to a cause. And like I said, I have like a different kinds of shamanic practice, but to get kind of like just thrown into into that other place. And so much of this apparently occurred at the theta level, so there was so much of it was clear there. And then as you're coming in, you're almost kind of like know that it's light, what color things are in your room. You almost have that much awareness, and you're like, I got this. And it's almost like if you had an ice cube in your hand, and as soon as you come to full awakeness and you go, all right now, and you have a wet hand. So anyway, that's it for me. So we got to stay sane. We have to stay really focused in love, really understand that hatred for people is unacceptable. Love for all, hatred for none. Save it for the fictions and the systems, if you really want to feel that. And in certain cases, it just might arise because of the way energy moves through people. But it's when we hate people that it gets wrong. So, and especially love yourself, or at least try, and stay sane. So I'll see you next time.